Hey you guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new here. I thought I would make a faux leather video for you guys. I haven't done one in a while. It's been about 4 months and I've been itching to make faux leather. And I have some new papers that I would like to try. One of them I'm super excited about, you'll see in a minute. But I have some others here that I would like to try. I've never used except for this one. But I thought it would be fun to make some faux leather. So I figured I'd just throw it all into one video instead of making 4 separate videos. Easier on me with the editing process. But yeah, this one here is rice paper. This is the one I got from Temu, so I thought it would be fun to try. Like, I've never used rice paper before, so I just thought it would be fun. Never used it in general actually, but I thought it would be fun to try to make faux leather. The tissue paper I have used before. I got this one from Hobby Lobby. It's like a nice tan color, so I thought it would be fun to throw in there. This one here is a newsprint. I thought it would be fun because I've never used newsprint before, and I've been wanting a pad like this for a while to make ephemera, like print out pages of newspaper, you know, vintage newspapers or book pages, stuff like that. I just thought it would be fun to have. It was on sale for $4.99, so I did not pay that price for it. It is 37.2 pounds, so it is fairly thin. I said in my one video, my last faux leather video that I did, I'll put it up on the screen, that you can use any type of paper you want to make faux leather. It does not have to be paper bags, because somebody made a comment about not having access to paper bags. You do not have to use paper bags. I said that in that video. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys different types of papers you can use. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what other type of paper I can use, and when I got the one that I'm about to show you, I started thinking, let's make a video of, like I said, just throw in a couple different types of paper and see what happens. So this one here is the one I'm super excited about. This, I have never heard of this paper until recently. Most people call it stone paper, but one is mineral paper. It is made from calcium carbonate. Let's see if we can zoom in so you guys can see. So it is made from stones instead of trees. It is waterproof, tear resistant. And this one says it's 100 pounds, but I'm not sure maybe if that is in stone paper pounds. I'm not sure because it feels like it's awfully thin compared to, I saw Bristol paper at Hobby Lobby that said it was 100 pounds and it was a lot thicker than this. So I'm not sure how that works. This one is stone paper, it's just different than what I have seen before. Like I said, I just heard of it recently. This one has a vellum surface, so it's very soft and it's really nice feeling. Like I said, it doesn't tear. I have tried to tear it here. So you see here it does not tear. It just stretched when I tried to tear it. You can cut it, but you cannot tear it. But it does feel very soft. I mean, it actually even feels softer than vellum. It's going to be very exciting to see what it looks like once we turn it into faux leather. Like I said, I've never used this type of paper before, never even heard of it until recently. Vicky, I'm not going to try to say her last name, I will put it up on the screen. It was the one that I heard this from. She uses it in her art journals all the time. The one she uses is much different, like thicker. I just found this on Amazon. It was affordable, so I thought I'd give it a try, since I've never used it. But I also have a funny little story of when I got this paper that I thought I would share with you. So I ordered this, like I said, on Amazon. It was supposed to be just one pad, and it says 20 sheets. I was like, okay, like $11 and some change. So I was like, okay, we'll try it. So I ordered it. When it arrived, I went to pick it up at the concierge thing here at my apartment. And when I got it out of the box, it felt very heavy. I was like, what the heck? Why is it so heavy? And why is it so thick? I mean, I was like, well, it's stone paper, maybe. I was like, I'm not sure. Anyway, I just was kind of confused as to why it was so heavy and why it was so bulky. So I got it home, opened it up, and there was this whole stack here of paper pads. There are 7 here. I looked at the listing. I'm not sure. It said they only had options for a 1-pack or a 2-pack of 20 sheets, which would just be one of these. I'm not sure what exactly happened. I guess they messed up. But I mean, it was wrapped in a baggie and cellophane and everything, taped up. So I'm not exactly sure what happened. I just thought it was a funny story. I'm still confused. Like I said, there was nothing on the listing at all about 7 paper pads, but I have stone paper for like ever, unless I decide to give some away, which I could do. But yeah, this is on Amazon. I'm not saying that you will get the same thing I got. Like I said, I think they made a mistake, but I just wanted to share that story with you because I thought it was kind of funny. So we're going to make some some faux leather today. Let's get started. So I think I might, even though I'm super excited, I think I might save this one for last. I want to try this one really bad, but I will save that for last. Let me get set up and I'll be back. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna do the rice paper now. I actually did try this before in the video and I think I deleted it because I realized during the week that there is a process that you can do. Same thing you would do with the tissue paper. Like if you're making rice paper with tissue paper or rice paper, not rice paper, but tracing paper or anything like that. The way you do it to prevent it from tearing is, well, I'll show you here in a minute. But yeah, I wasn't thinking that earlier when I tried that and I was using the sponge and it didn't work very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and crinkle this one up. Just be super careful no matter what. Hoping that I don't tear it. Being super careful. Like I said, I'm not gonna wet it either because it's so thin. I don't wanna like damage the integrity of it. I'm gonna have to see if I can get a hold of some rice paper from like Amazon or something just to compare the two. Okay, so last time what I did when I tried it was I used a sponge, which wasn't a good idea for rice paper. So I'm going to be using a paintbrush this time. I was going to do like different colors. I was going to do like a bluish green color with this one, but I'm just going to do brown. I mean, like I said, you can do whatever color you want. I just always gravitate to brown because I like neutral colors and brown always looks good on faux leather and journals and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna do brown. I have the Faux in coffee bean. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put it on the paintbrush. So you want to go out from the middle when you're doing thin paper like this, like rice paper, tissue paper, tracing paper, parchment paper, any kind of thin paper. Just be super careful though. Maybe spray it with a little bit of water. Okay, I'm going to switch to nutmeg brown just for a different color. Okay, so I went ahead and painted it all. I didn't want to do it all on camera because it was just taking too long. But yeah, it definitely is better to use a paintbrush for this type of paper. The only thing that really ripped was the corners. I think there's a tear somewhere in here too. And I did have to crinkle it again, which I should have waited till it dried more because it does flatten out quite a bit, just like the newspaper print does. And I didn't like completely cover it. You can still see white spots. So I'm going to go ahead and put the matte varnish on and then we'll be done with this part and then we'll move on to the next one. But yeah, I knew there was a way to do it. I just wasn't doing it right before. Using the sponge obviously was a bad idea for rice paper. Yeah, and I just used the two colors, the coffee bean and nutmeg brown. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the varnish. Just going to pour it on. And then spray it with some water to help it spread out. The reason I didn't do the ends, like around the edges, is because most of the time if you're using it for like a journal cover or anything like that, whatever you use it for, you're not going to be using the edges. I mean, most of the time you're going to cut them off. So I didn't do the edges. Go ahead and finish this up. I'm still going all the way to the edges with the varnish. It's going to help make it stronger too. I have to make sure I can take care of this Mod Podge brush better. I was going to get some of those Mod Podge ones that are made for this, but they were out of stock, I think, at Michael's when I was there, so I just got these. They're cheaper too. These were like $6.99 or something like that, and you get 4 in a pack. And those ones were $11.99, and you only get 3. Like, while it's wet, of course, it's still super fragile. Completely covered with varnish. I'm going to let it dry completely. It does still have some wrinkles, and on camera it actually does look like leather. Like in real life, it does a little bit, but not as much. But yeah, it definitely looks like leather. Let me know if you guys have ever used rice paper as faux leather and like what you did with it. I mean, obviously I've used tissue paper as faux leather and like covered books with it and stuff like that. That's always an option. And I'm gonna let it dry and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's pretty much dry, still a little cool. I think it's still a little bit wet, but I'm not gonna use it for anything right now. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. And it definitely looks like leather, so I'm definitely glad I tried this again. It's still really thin and fragile, so I said it would probably just be good for like kind of like what you use tissue paper for, just gluing it on top of something like a book. Yeah, I like it though. I mean, the wrinkles stayed in there, so I don't have to wrinkle it again. The wrinkles pretty much just disappeared when I was painting it, probably because I was going over it with the paintbrush so much. But yeah, I like it. Let's move on to the next technique. Okay, let's move on. Apparently I was talking and not recording. We're gonna move on to the newsprint. I'm gonna use the same colors. I only had 3 colors anyway that I really wanted to use. The bluish, like blue-green, pink and red, and then I wanna do like a really dark one with the Scorched timber because I've never used that yet. I've had that for a while as well, and I have not used it yet. So I want to do like a really dark piece, but I'm going to do that on the stone paper. So I'm going to do the green and bluish color on this one. So we're going to do the same thing, spray it down. This one shouldn't rip, hopefully. But I like doing these type of videos with you guys that I haven't done it myself either, so we're learning together. So we're just going to crumple it up just like we always do. And you still want to be very careful with this one because it's not that thick either. I mean, any thin paper, like the parchment paper I've done, this one, tissue paper, obviously the rice paper, but this one is much easier to work with. Okay, so I got it as crinkled as I want it. Let's go ahead and start again with the blue. Yeah, the Tiffany blue. I'm going to pour it on sponge and then spray it with some of the water. And the cool thing is you don't really even have to cover the whole thing unless you want to. You can leave some of that tan color underneath. And the sponge is also nice because it keeps that color and that paint in there. Not as well as I thought it did. Okay, I'm going to take some and put some on my craft mat. Brayer it on. Put some water. I have actually never tried this, so I thought it would be interesting to try. Okay, and I think I'm going to put some salvage patina down and try that. Although I don't think it makes much of a difference. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the Uncharted Mariner. I'm kind of just playing around and seeing what works. Ooh, that's actually kind of cool. Let's do it on the ends. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this on the ends to kind of give it a different look. Okay, you guys, so using different colors doesn't seem to be working very well, or maybe it's the paper. Like I said, that's why we do this, to see what type of papers work and what don't. So this one, I'm not saying this type of paper won't work. I'm going to try with a brown color and see what happens. I'm going to paint the whole page. But this one just doesn't look like leather to me. It looks like I'm just putting paint on the page. Definitely do not throw this away. If you do this and it doesn't work out, you can still use it for collage or, just whatever, tags, just ephemera, whatever you can think of to use it for. I definitely do like the different blues. Like this is the Uncharted Mariner up here and over here. The salvage patina doesn't really show up as much with this color. It's a little too close, I guess. But yeah, I definitely like the way it looks. It just doesn't look like faux leather to me. So I'm gonna try again off camera with a brown color and see how that looks. And then I will do the stone paper. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys different types of papers and what works, what doesn't, so you don't have to try it yourself. But yeah, I think this paper just doesn't wrinkle enough, just like in the last faux leather video. I used the packing paper from the Amazon packaging and it didn't wrinkle very well either. So I think, like I said, some papers you don't have to wrinkle, like policy envelopes you don't, they look really cool. Most other papers they do look better wrinkled. If you just did it flat, it would just look like you're putting paint on paper, just like this does. I'm gonna go ahead and set this one aside, get another piece, and try again. I might cut it in half so it's not so big. I mean, of course, you don't have to use the full sheet of paper. That way I'm not using so much paint. I'm gonna go ahead and set this one aside and get another piece and probably cut it in half and try that. And then I'll be back later and show you what they look like. Okay, so here's another piece of the newsprint. I did this color here, coffee bean, and a little bit of the burnt umber, like the darker spots. And then I didn't accidentally do it, I did it on purpose, but I like turned it over and kind of smeared it all over to get some of the paint. And of course it picked up the green paints, so it kind of gave it that patinaed look. It's kind of faded now, so I might have to go back in and add some more, but I kind of like that look, but it still doesn't look like faux leather to me. No matter how much I crinkle it, it just doesn't wrinkle as well. I don't think newsprint is the best paper for faux leather. I'm going to keep all this in here, just like I said, to let you guys know what works, what doesn't. And this one doesn't seem to be working very well. Of course, this will make an awesome like ephemera for something, like I said, tags or something like that. Definitely keep it if you do try this. So far this video seems to be like what doesn't work. And I did another piece over there that I have over there that's like I covered completely. Once you get it wet and like wrinkle it and then paint on it, the wrinkles go away, so it doesn't have, I mean, you can still see some of the wrinkles, but they're just not enough really to make it look like leather. So it's just not good for faux leather. Okay, so I know I said that I was gonna show you guys what the other ones with the newsprint look like. I'm not gonna put like a finish on these. This is probably going to end up being used as like scraps for ephemera or whatever, so I don't want to put that on there. Yeah, like I said, they definitely don't look like faux leather to me, so I'm not going to use it as that. I do like the way this one looks for like using as like scraps for ephemera. I definitely don't want to use it as faux leather. It's just, I wrinkled it again and it just doesn't hold the wrinkle enough to make it look like faux leather. I just wanted to show you guys real quick. This is the one that I did, and I painted the whole thing, and then I added a little bit of the burnt umber. And supposedly it also says this doesn't shrink like regular paper does. And this is 9 by 12. Okay, I don't think that's true because it did shrink. Okay, so for this one, like I said, I want to do a dark leather. I have the Scorched Timber Distress ink, or yeah, Reinker, I mean. I'm going to actually make a distress spray. I have this bottle here. Hopefully this works. Somebody said that they don't work very well, so we'll try. If not, I have another one. And I have distilled water here. You always want to make sure you use distilled water when you make anything in the craft room, just to prevent bacteria and stuff and prevent your stuff from going bad. So I'm gonna put probably like 20 drops. Okay, let's try that, see how that looks. I'm just gonna make half the bottle and we'll see how it looks, and then if I need more, I'll add more. I got these bottles from Dollar Tree, that's why I'm not sure if they're gonna work well. Pretty dark. And then I'm also gonna use the burnt umber paint. Yeah, I'm glad it wrinkled because I was worried about that. So let's just spray some of this on there. Like I said, I've never used this type of paper before. I'm learning along with you guys. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Definitely not as dark as I wanted, but that's what the paint's for. Maybe I need to add some more. Just trying to get it in like everywhere. So it's just like dyeing it like a light brown color. Let me add some more. Okay, so yeah, it definitely looks cool. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the paint. I probably should have did the paint before I did the water. Like I said, this stuff is waterproof, so the paint, the water's not gonna soak in. And this is the darkest paint I have. So it might not come out as dark as I was hoping, but it still looks pretty cool. I am definitely finding the paintbrush seems to be faster than the sponge. Like maybe I need to try a different technique with it and using the sponge. Since it is waterproof, the paint, I'm not sure. It does look cool though, definitely. I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun. Okay, well, it doesn't take long to dry at all. Again, I guess because it's waterproof, it's already completely dry and it doesn't go through. This is just from where it touched the back, like the paper in the background, but it does not go through, so that's pretty cool. It's still very strong. It does not rip. I don't want to do that too much because it does make it look funky, but yeah, I like it. I'm gonna go over it with, I have my Scorched Timber ink and oxides. I mentioned this in my ink pad storage video. I got this in a little set. Like you get the oxide ink, the Reinkers in both the ink and the oxide. And then I also got one of the ink daubers and a couple of the pads with it. But yeah, I think it looks cool. So I'm gonna go over it with this one and just kind of go over it like this. Okay, so I did just learn something with the heat gun. You do not want to put too much heat on one area. It kind of acted like plastic and started melting. Right here you can see it's like, I'm not sure. Like I said, it just kind of was like plastic and started melting. So you definitely do not want to put a lot of heat on this. Make sure you move it around. You can use your heat gun. Just make sure you move it around. Do not leave it on one spot for a long time. That will happen. So I'm just going to let this air dry. It doesn't seem to be drying very fast with the ink. So I'm going to let it air dry and I'll come back and see what it looks like. So this definitely is not like the stone paper that I saw on Vicky's videos. It's definitely different. I mean, I don't know, it says mineral paper, but it's definitely not like the one that I saw. Like I said, it's all thinner and it's apparently melts when you put too much heat on it. Okay, so the ink isn't drying. I had to dab off some of it and you see quite a bit came off. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with the Mod Podge. If some of it comes off, hopefully it doesn't smear too much. Let me hit it with the heat gun one more time. Just like I said, make sure you don't leave it in one spot for too long, because that happens. Yeah, it's not drying. I think the oxide, because I did go over it with the oxide a little bit, I think that's drying. So maybe use the oxide instead of the ink. I'm gonna go back over it. Okay, well, I'm being impatient, so I'm just gonna go in with the Mod Podge. I think I'm gonna use the matte one. I always use matte because I've tried using the satin one before and it kind of leaves it sticky. Or maybe I should use this one. Yeah, let's try to use this one. So yeah, don't use the ink on it because it's just coming off. Everything else worked. It's just you can't use the ink because it doesn't dry and it's just coming off, so it's just going to end up looking like it did before. So I'm going to let that dry. Hopefully it will. Okay, so it's all dry. It didn't take very long to dry at all, just probably 5-6 minutes, if that. I don't know, I didn't time it, but I put my little fan from Dollar Tree on it and it was dry in no time. So it's definitely a fast dry time, probably because it is waterproof and it's just sitting on top. It does not absorb at all. It kind of reminds me of the vellum I did a while ago, except this one tore. This one you do not have to worry about that. So if you wanted something that's going to be really durable, this is definitely an option. I will leave the link down below for you if you want to check it out. I'm definitely going to try to see if I can find another type of stone paper to check out. Like I said, this one is definitely very different than the one that Vicky shows and uses. The Stemperia one is the one that she uses. But yeah, I love the way it came out. I love the colors, the dark, Scorched Timber and the Burnt Umber definitely made a very nice dark color. And then using the matte varnish definitely was a good idea to make it not too much of a sheen. And I decided not to do the tissue paper for this video. If you would like to see me do that, let me know. I haven't done one of those yet. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm not going to do that in this video, but I will do it if you want me to. Let me know. Thought I used tissue paper on the little journal that I did, this one here, but I think I used napkin, if I remember right. So I think that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I will be definitely happy to answer once this goes up. Like I said, I'll leave the link down below for you. So now we know that the newsprint won't work. It's just not a good option, and this is definitely a good option. Yeah, I guess that's it for this video. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.